Hey y'all, and welcome back on board the RPG Tour Bus. For the Speedy Tour, at this time of year, I can't think of a better game to discuss than Parasite Eve. Keeping that holiday spirit, we are revisiting this PS1 classic to further discuss the weapon system in the game, bringing particular attention to the rate of fire add-ons that you can attach to your weapons. This seemed to be an issue of some confusion on the last Parasite Eve Speedy Tour, as well as on my playthrough of the game. Just what rate of fire is best used on your ultimate firearm. Let's take a look. Starting from the beginning, there are 5 rate of fire add-ons that you can put on your weapon. Times 2, times 3, times 5, times 7, and times 10. Not having any of these add-ons defaults your gun to a single bullet rate of fire. Logically speaking, more bullets should mean more damage and be better, right? Well, first of all, this is game logic we're dealing with here, not regular logic. And second, it's complicated. There are 2 ideas I like to break this down by, being damage per bullet and damage per round. In Parasite Eve, the higher a gun's rate of fire, the lower its damage per bullet will end up being. Let me give you a quick breakdown for each rate of fire and the damage percentage each bullet will deal. As a baseline, no rate of fire add-on or shooting a single bullet equals 100% bullet damage. Times 2 rate of fire equals 60% damage per bullet. Times 3 equals 42% damage per bullet. A times 5 rate of fire means 25% bullet damage, times 7 equals 18% bullet damage, and finally times 10 rate of fire gives you 13% bullet damage. Now hearing these numbers may make it sound ridiculous to have any rate of fire added onto your gun. Between 40% and 87% drop in damage for each bullet fired? How can that possibly be useful? Well, that's where the damage per round train of thought comes into play. Even though each individual bullet might do less damage, the total amount of damage done for that round does increase. You can estimate that damage percentage by multiplying the rate of fire, that is, the bullet shot, by the percentages we mentioned earlier. Here's that breakdown for each rate of fire when thinking in terms of damage per round. Again, we'll use no add-ons as our basis, which still yields the 100% damage for that single bullet. The 2 rate of fire gives a round total damage of 120%. Rate of fire 3 gives 126% damage for the round. 5 rate of fire sees a slight dip in the estimated damage with 125% for the round. 7 rate of fire also deals 126% damage, just like rate of fire 3. And finally 10 deals the most damage per round at 130%. So with these numbers in mind, let's consider all the possibilities. First of all, I think that we can rule out the 5 and 7 rate of fire options. If you saw my last video, you may note that I'm changing my mind from when I discussed the rate of fire then, and mentioned that 5 was worth considering. Since rate of fire 5 and 7 add-ons yield less or equal damage to the add-ons that use up fewer bullets per round, I'm going to say that you should avoid these effects. But what about the rate of fire times 10? That has the highest damage output per round, so is that the best option? I honestly recommend against using this add-on, because that high rate of fire can eat through your ammo reserves quickly. You also have to factor in that as Aya is firing all 10 of those shots, she will be standing completely still, vulnerable to enemy attacks, or having the enemy move out of firing range. That leaves us with a rate of fire of 2, 3, or no rate of fire add-on at all. Honestly, all of these are worth considering. I believe the most bang for your buck is with the 2 times rate of fire. This gives you an extra 20% damage to your attack while keeping your turn speedy with only 1 extra bullet being fired. If you have a quick shooting gun like the machine gun or handgun, you'll barely notice the slightly longer time firing that 1 extra bullet. You may opt for the rate of fire 3 to get that extra bit of pain squeezed into each turn, since it does do an extra 6% damage. And again, if you have a faster firearm, I don't believe you're putting yourself in too much danger of standing still for too long. You may start to reconsider that once you have the command add-ons put on your firearm. As a quick reminder, the double and triple command add-ons will let you do 1 or 2 extra actions during your turn of combat. So you could shoot bullets for 1 action, then maybe use an item, or use some of that parasite energy for another. Or if you get impatient like I do at times, you may just mash that button and fire all the way through, with all your commands. However, if you are rapid firing through 2 or 3 sets of actions in a single round at 3 times rate of fire, that would be either 6 or 9 bullets you'd have to let fly before I could move around the battlefield once again. Just something for you to keep in mind. Speaking of the command add-ons, if you're looking to go without any rate of fire and shoot your ammo 1 round at a time, then you will likely want the double and eventually triple commands at the ready. While each bullet doing its maximum damage is nice, only firing once when your turn comes around can stretch out combat a little longer than necessary. When you had the double or triple command, you were able to still do more shots during your single round of combat, while making each bullet count, and also leaving that flexibility to do the other actions I mentioned with your turn. I'm going to cap off this video by saying the Rate of Fire 2 is tour guide recommended for your journey through New York and your battles against those mitochondrial monsters. But I trust that you will make the right choice for your playstyle with these tips in mind. I hope that gives you all some better insight on this game mechanic in Parasite Eve, and now you can go off and save the holiday, PS1 style with Aya. Thank you all so much for joining me on the Speedy Tour. Before you get off the bus, be sure to subscribe so you'll know when more videos like this are released. Until next time, stay gold, my friends.